Hi everyone, welcome back to the violin build and still working on the fingerboard. This is probably the only time you'll see me using sandpaper on a violin build. I'm still have a little ways to go to get down to the exact 42 millimeter curve. I had some a little bit of tear out there. To get a nice smooth surface, I'm actually using sandpaper. I have a sanding block that has a 42 millimeter curve. And I'm starting out with the 120 grit paper, and I'll just be sanding along the length of the board like this. And this smooths out any plane marks and scraper marks and gives it a nice smooth surface. And after the 120 grit, I'll switch over to 220 and finer grits. So that's getting to be a nice smooth surface. I think I still have maybe just a tiny bit more to go as far as removing material. It's really close now. I may go back to the coarser paper and get it on down slightly more, but that's looking pretty good there. If you sight down the length of it, it should look smooth. I don't know if it's shiny enough to reflect light yet. I'll continue with progressively finer grades of paper and check it with the template. Let's check it with the template and see where we're at here. I don't know, can I get that in focus? It's getting pretty close. It's pretty close to the right curvature. So I'm using this 42 millimeter template. Also serves as a scraper, since I've sharpened the edge with a slight burr, the way a normal card scraper is sharpened. That allows me to do some final touch up and shaping. This is an iterative process. That's a hard word to say. Iterative. Anyway, I go back and forth from scraper to sandpaper, adjusting as I go. Okay, so with that bit of sanding and a little bit more planing off camera, I'm now at the point where the bevels are gone, except a little bit right here where I over beveled it a little bit. It got a little bit too low, but that's okay because the fingerboard length is going to be 270 millimeters long, and right now it's a little bit longer than that. It's about 273 millimeters long right now. Let's see. So that gives me a little bit of extra length to, yeah, it's about 272, maybe 273. That gives me a little bit of extra length to remove that hint of a bevel right there. That should not be there. And also it allows me to remove the saw marks. I don't know if those show up well, but the saw marks from the supplier when they make the board blank. Still a rough surface there. So I'll be cutting off about maybe a millimeter there, maybe a millimeter here on this end, because there's rough saw marks here as well. And the next step is to scoop the length of the board on the upper surface about a ½ millimeter on the treble side and about a 0.75 on the bass side. So that scoop gives room for when you're fingering it, for the strings to vibrate without buzzing on the surface. And along with that scoop on the upper surface, the sides are also going to be slightly scooped this way along the sides. This template that I've been using, this is a 42 millimeter template, but it's also a scraper. I've sharpened the edge, and I can use that to scrape any high spots or ridges, along with using the sandpaper and all that in a scraper. That will give me a nice smooth surface. And so that's where we're at with it right now. So I'm going to stop right there and start doing the scooping in the next video. And then the only remaining thing to do after that will be to refine this scoop. So that's where we're at right now. Stay tuned for the next one.